Hi, I'm Libby Crow, and this is my grandson, Kieran McKeon, and we are going to read you some books this morning that I hope you'll like. This first one is called Catching Thoughts. And this book is by a woman named Bonnie Clark, illustrated by Summer Macon. I have this thought I don't like. It showed up on a bad day. At first, it was really no big deal. Just a teeny tiny little thought. But after a while, the thought followed me everywhere I went. It tripped me up when I wasn't expecting it. Look, she's falling. That thought's really giving her a bad time. I tried to unthink my unwanted thought, but that just made me think about it more. It's getting bigger and bigger. This thought made me angry, so I yelled, "Get out of my brain!" It stayed. I sat down and cried, and it didn't care. It seemed like there was no more room in my head for anything but the one horrible thought. I had to do something. This poor girl. I took a deep breath and looked at it. Maybe it wasn't so big. I smiled and I said, "Hello." That's when I noticed it. It was small, but it was beautiful. I reached up and I caught it. This beautiful thought gave me an idea. I turned to that old thought and grinned. From now on, I'll be catching new thoughts. And then I gently pushed the old thought aside. I grabbed onto thoughts that were hopeful, and I gathered up thoughts that were lovely. There, she's got a net out now to catch her thoughts. I held on tight to thoughts that were true and embraced thoughts that were excellent. Sit down. There she is. I danced with thoughts of pure joy. Okay, they're supposed to be listening to the book too. I collected thoughts that were clear and calm. Clear and calm. Here she is floating away on a lovely day. I realized that the more positive thoughts I caught, the smaller that old negative thought became. And whenever that old thought tries to come back into view, I can just say, "Hello," and politely ask it to leave, and fill my world with all the good thoughts that I choose to put in my mind instead. And this book is such a good idea because we can control our thoughts some, right? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah? And it reminded me of a Bible verse in Philippians. This is Philippians 4, starting with verse 8. And it says, "Finally, my friends, keep your minds on whatever is true, pure, right, holy, friendly, and proper. Don't ever stop thinking about what is truly worthwhile." Sit down, please. "And worthy of praise. You know the teachings I give you. And you know that you heard me say what you've heard me say and saw me do. So follow my example, and God, who gives peace, will be with you. So even in the Bible, it tells us to focus on lovely, pure thoughts, on good thoughts. Okay, sit down. We're going to read another book. And this book is from when I was a little girl, and it's called Whistle for Willie. And you'll see that the mom and dad in this book, if you've read the book The Snowy Day, this is the same little boy Peter that's in that book, The Snowy Day. And his mom and dad are dressed like the moms and dads dressed when I was a little girl. So that looks a little bit funny. All right. This book is by Ezra Jack Keats, who does the illustrations too. Oh, how Peter wished he could whistle. He saw a boy playing with his dog, and whenever the boy whistled, the dog ran straight to him. Peter tried and tried to whistle, but he couldn't. So instead, he began to turn himself around and around and around. He whirled faster and faster. And when he stopped, everything turned down and up and up and down and around and around. Peter saw his dog Willie coming, and quick as a wink, he hid in an empty carton lying on the sidewalk. Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled, Peter thought. Willie would stop and look all around to see who it was. Peter tried again to whistle, but still he couldn't. So Willie just walked on. Peter got out of the carton and started home. And on the way, he took some colored chalks out of his pocket and drew a long, long line. Right up to his door. He stood there and tried to whistle again. He blew till his cheeks were tired, but nothing happened. He went into his house and he put on his father's old hat to make himself feel more grown up. He looked into the mirror to practice whistling. Still no whistle. When his mother saw what he was doing, Peter pretended that he was his father. He said, "I've come home early today, dear. Is Peter here?" His mother answered, "Why, no, he's outside with Willie." "Well, I'll go out and look for him," said Peter. First, he walked along a crack in the sidewalk, and then he tried to run away from his shadow. He jumped off his shadow, but when he landed, they were together again. He came to the corner where the carton was, and who should he see but Willie? Here comes Willie. Peter scrambled under the carton. He blew and blew and blew, and suddenly out came a real whistle. And Willie stopped and looked around to see who it was. Good old Willie heard it right away. "It's me!" Peter shouted, and he stood up. Willie raced straight to him. Peter's mother asked him and Willie to go on an errand to the grocery store. And he whistled all the way there, and he whistled all the way home. That's the end. Good for him, he learned to whistle. Thank you for watching these books. I hope you enjoy them. We love you. We hope to see you soon here in church. Bye-bye.